It says I'm live. I take that to mean I'm live or I'm alive. Hey, it's Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Pi Day Friday. Happy drama. Happiness. Can you believe it? This is, by my reckoning, December 17th, which by my reckoning is, was 30 days in September, 30. So 13 days left in the year, maybe 14, because I'm doing a New Year's Eve show. Oh, by the way, there's the big giveaway. I'm doing a New Year's Eve show. And as long as I'm at it, I'm doing a Christmas Eve show. They're going to be short. We're not going to do projects. We're going to do Q&As. So why am I doing that? Well, A, because I love to talk to you guys. B, because I'm at home, so I may as well do it. And C, because what a wonderful opportunity for me to do giveaways as a holiday present. If you don't celebrate Christmas, cool bananas. It will still be available for whatever winter solstice you could celebrate, whatever. So we're going to be having contests on New Year's Eve and on Christmas Eve. So I'm doing short shows. Oh, let me see. You know, back channel, God loves you. I'll bet you come up with this stuff off the top of your head. I have to sit down some nights and kill a half an hour, 45 minutes coming up with what sound metaphor I'm going to have to do for the Scott and Mike show. Back channel just to swan babies. I don't even know what that means, but I love it. Hey, well, anyways, welcome to Friday. It is December 17th. It's the third to the last show of the year. I never know how to count those in, but this one and two more shows of the year. And then we start saying, okay. Well, yeah, I got the spawn part. I just spawn babies. Okay, sorry. Small print on my screen. Now I got to see if I saw that. Yeah, it does say spawn. Okay. People reference me as the Spawn. And put your favorite character after that. Spawn of. Hey, well, I see lots of people checking in already. I know why. It's because your incredible fascination with today's project and has nothing to do with the fact that you're looking for a good freebie. But by coincidence, if you happen to be here for that incredible project that we're going to do today, that's actually a pretty cool project. I'm also going to give away a CompTIA voucher somewhere during the show. So we got a lot of fun with that. So let's start this thing up, get the paperwork done. I'll move this thing up here where I can have it near the camera and kind of look like, man, speaking of that, somebody just announced a camera, pre-announced, and maybe it's technology, maybe it's not a camera, but somehow, somewhere, you're going to be able to place your camera in wherever you're normally comfortable with it. And then through AI, it's going to adjust the eyes of the speaker, the presenter, as if they're always looking at the camera, like I'm doing this now, instead of, looking down and reading or looking over there or looking. So, because I'm really bad at that. I'm not the world's worst at it. I'm looking at Scott and he is just brilliant at being able to watch this camera for a long time. I'll go down, glance at a couple of words, memorize 37 paragraphs, and then come back up here. And of course, everybody knows that Mike does that brilliantly. Oh, it's past iced tea season. And so we're doing hot tea today. And I totally needed that. I've been doing this all morning for no good reason. I suppose it's a symptom. Well, at any rate, this is Pi Day Friday or Drama. Dave Rush Ask Me Anything and Scott. I am David Rush, or just Dave. I'm the senior instructor at Total Seminars. This is an Ask Me Anything, and we are open to just about any topic except religion and politics. And I don't want to hear another word about COVID. I am reaching my limit. I've been there before and I've gotten over it, but I'm there again. We do this every Friday at 2 o'clock Central Time on this very channel. If you're not watching this live, please join us next Friday or the next time you get an opportunity, and you can talk with us live because it's an Ask Me Anything on the YouTube chat channel. And if you are watching this remotely, you can always get in touch with me later. I'll give you some email information and bring it up with that way. Let's see. That's kind of weird. You know, sometimes I got to edit my own stuff. It's been sitting here as a template. It never changes. And now I'm actually reading it. First sentence, I'm the senior instructor at Total Seminars. Fourth sentence, I'm the senior instructor at Total Seminars. Some editing in order. Watch this. I'm going to do that now because I copy this into next week's offerings when I do that, and I'll forget. Okay. Oh, I just closed it. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. No, it's not. I feel really good. I'm having a great day. And I don't need that to do this, except I do for the project. So let's bring it back up. There we go. Here it comes. And move it back where I was looking at you, nice folks. So I am, as always, joined by my partner in pie, Scott Jernigan. He's not on camera with us today. He's working the back channel. The Network Plus book, for all intents and purposes, is in the can, and he is now switched focus to another new project that will excite everybody. I don't know how close I can get to NDAs. They've kind of alluded to it. Maybe they've even said it directly, but I haven't read my NDA, so I don't know what I can say and what I can't say, but you guys got a pretty good idea of what's coming up. So by all means, communicate with him, communicate with me. If you want to want me to specifically address your post, please make it easy on me. When you type it into the YouTube channel, do an @ and then start typing Dave. And I don't know what I'm in there, if is D Rush or Dave or whatever. Who am I? I'm David Rush. And likewise for Scott, if you just start typing @Scott, then you'll get him. If I see @ signs and somebody else's name on there, that means you guys are talking to each other, and that's completely fine, but I'm not going to read it because I'm looking to answer things that are for me, and you guys can have a conversation as you see fit. Also, I think working in the back channel, I haven't seen or heard from him yet today, but Andrew Hutz is probably working the back channel. Longtime member and participant of AMAs and dramas, and then he joined Total Seminars, and now he works with us, for us, to us, at us, however that works out. So what are we doing here? Well, we're doing the same thing we do every week. We are here to advance our technical learning while isolated during the COVID crisis. This is the 71st in a series of weekly dramas to show how we can use Raspberry Pi in studying for CompTIA certifications, other kinds of certifications, and as a standalone object in and of itself. I'm going to do a project today called Image Magick. It's all one word and it ends with CK. Image Magick is a to call it an image editor is not complete. It's not fair. But among other things, it is an image editor. And I'm tying that into CompTIA A+. A+ wants us to be aware of some of the aspects of graphic files and more as generations of exams continue. So I'm going to show you some things that are very germane, pardon me, to CompTIA A+, the current version, possibly a future version, if and when there is a future version. And then I'm going to go above and beyond. And man, I have been using Image Magick for years, and I haven't used it in recent years. So I kind of ran across it a couple of weeks ago and said, yeah, I want to include that in the thing. And then I started playing with it about a week ago, getting ready for the show. And holy Hannah, has it changed? Has it gotten so much more powerful? It's unbelievable. So much so that I'm going to do about 0.1% of its capability today. It's just an incredibly powerful thing, and I have lots to say about it. The presentation itself isn't that long. I'm going to talk more about the presentation than the presentation itself, but it's cool banana stuff, I assure you. As always, my gratitude to Mike Myers, Alpha Geek himself, who owns and operates this stuff. This is his channel. He lets me get on and join you guys every Friday for a couple of hours. And same for Scott Jernigan and Andrew Hutz and Michael Smyer and lots of other folks who make this happen. And of course, all my gratitude to you for joining us every day or every week. All right, none of that stuff. Ask questions. Our usual bailiwick in CompTIA is A+, Net+, Security+. IT Fundamentals Plus. I got an IT Fundamentals class coming up in February. Don't know what I'm going to do about the show yet. It's too far out for us to make plans for that, but I got cool things. I'll be talking about that a little bit as we go on, because there is something in ITF Plus. You don't need ITF Plus, by the way, to pursue A Plus or Net Plus. ITF Plus, IT Fundamentals, is a certification that shows you've demonstrated understanding and capability in using common computer concepts. So I know how to boot Windows and do some changes and configurations in it. A little bit of troubleshooting, but it's not a troubleshooting thing. And I can use spreadsheets and databases and some programming of different kinds. And one of the things that they've really kind of focused on laser-like of late is getting into SQL databases, SQL databases. It's not a scratch the surface kind of thing. This is what it is, and here's a definition. They get into it, into specific commands, and so I'm building some labs around that. It's a lot of fun, and big surprise, I'm going to do it on Raspberry Pis. I may get smacked back on that, and they'll say, no, they don't all have Raspberry Pis. You're going to have to do it on a PC. We'll see. That's a discussion I'm going to have. But if that goes really well, we're going to do an SQL class in here, as I am learning it as fast as I can teach it. Oh, I thought I deleted that. That's cool. That's all right. So you got questions? Again, quickest, easiest way to do that is on the YouTube chat. If you can't do that, you're not available, you got something else going on, you can reach me through all kinds of other methods. I'm not going to do the really powerful, cool screen shares until I get to really cool, powerful things to screen share on. So I'm just stick with the usual one here. You can email me if you can't get your message posted on there. It's not getting answered. It's too long. You're watching on the archive. Catch me, Dave R. at TotalSem.com, because I'm Dave Rush and I work for Total Seminars. You can also contact me my personal email, drushtx at Yahoo. Same for Scott. He's Scott J at Total Sem. And Andrew Hutz is Andrew H. We all steam. I'm Blood Rush TX. Scott is Scarheart. 2 R's total, but no E's. And Andrew is The Green Abyss. I asked him what his Steam name was the other day. He told me, and that was recognizable because he uses that in other arenas in which we play. But I have never yet asked him why. I know why Scott is Scarheart. I know why I'm Blood Rush TX, because it's a cool name, all right? But I don't know where the green address is coming from, the Green Abyss. All right, last thing to post up here, and then we'll start taking a look at questiones is we got specials. Back channel, if you would post the special of the day, that would be awesome. And while you're at it, post the Discord link. We'll get 2 things out of the way with 1 throw of the stone. Do that, and then this, and then they can see it. Wait, something's wrong. Oh, there we go. All right, now nothing is wrong. All right, special of the week. We got ebook and total tester bundles for A+, Net+, Security+, Cybersecurity Analyst+, Pen Test+, and AWS Systems Architecture Associate. Go to the Total Sem website, load up your loot with that thing, and then use, thank you very much, back channel. 213, the special is posted, and so is what I'm going to talk about in a second, our Discord invitation link. Anyway, so you go to Total Sem, load up your goodie bag, and when you check out, use the code Drake. I got to talk about codes in a little bit. Stick around, don't miss this. I got cool things about discount codes because I can. And one other thing, the discount, how to image. Man, I have a lot of slides today. And as such, wow. Okay, that's all image manager. There we go. As such, if you open up a lot of PDFs in Acrobat Reader, it concatenates them and you have to go hunt for them. So that's what I'm doing. Anyways, We don't have a Discord channel. However, our good friend Jose Braden has created a Discord channel, and we get together on it. Typically after these AMAs, Scott or Mike or I or all three of us or some combination thereof, we'll get online with mics and cameras. You can come on, talk to us. I'm always online except when I'm sleeping, and even then my computer's online. So you can talk to me or talk to any of the 540 plus users on there. We got technical forums and Raspberry Pi and Linux forums and study forums and Kali forums and. So come on over, join us, please. Hit this link. It's also posted at 2:13, 13 minutes past the hour. Scott posted that. Thank you, Scott. And I will be on Discord today shortly after the show. I got to answer one very challenging question that popped up. It's going to take me 5 or 6 minutes to answer. And then I'll be on for as long as people are so interested. All right, enough of that nonsense. Let us entertain you. Let's see who's here and what's going on at 1:48. Turn your toggle your timestamps on if you don't already have them on. And that way, as I read these out, you'll know if I'm ahead of your question or behind your question. If I'm behind your question, I've missed it, post it again. So Tullowit checked in at 1:48, and Zach is here for the beginning of the show. Nice to see you, Zach. Hi, Ping. You weren't first today, but you were on Wednesday's show. Andre's here, man. Hail, hail. The gang's all here. Another count you heard from. People already talking to each other. Alan Duggan is here, another one of our early and regular folks. Tullowit, Windows 11 is starting to do some freaky things. My Radeon driver totally disappeared when I booted this morning. Rebooted, same, was using Microsoft default driver and had to reinstall the AMD one. That is definitely something weird. I'm theorizing that there was a Windows 11 patch or update that disabled the Radeon driver and forced you to reinstall, but that's just my first scratch at it, and I don't know. But if you join the Discord channel in the tech help area, you may be able to get some help there. Oh, yep, that's weird. Oh, I super scrolled. Does that happen to you? If you just, leave it on top for a while and let messages pile up beneath you and then scroll down a little bit, it just buzzes down to the very last message. We call that super scrolling. And I try and fix it by either noting the time of the message I'm on, or I'll highlight a message that I'm on. So if it's super scrolled, I can just scroll back up to the last thing I highlighted. See if anybody else had the same problem. Always a good idea. Zach, I'm not going to upgrade till it's forced. Likewise, I have a machine that I've installed on for experimenting with, but I would not put it on my daily driver yet. Hey, Scott welcomes us all at 2 minutes before showtime. Well, a lot going on before the show even started. And passing 159. What's up, everyone? Says Jason, another of the old crowd, is here. He had a day off to join drama. Thanks, man. I am live. Ahoy, Captain Rush, Scourge of the Seven Seas. Oh, now I feel the need for a patch. And I got one in the mail just today. Should I grab it? It's a pretty stupid joke, but I'm already wasting this much time. So sure. So I got me patch in the mail delivered not just an hour ago. Haven't even opened it yet. So come on. There we go. All right. You ready to see my patch? Patch. It's a patch cable. I know. I apologize. I should be arrested for that. Anywhere I put that, it'll get lost, and I need it this weekend. So. All right, reading messages, passing 202. Will Shaw is here. Congratulations, Will, a recent winner of one of our contests. So I keep track of all the contests we have, and all the names start to spill together unless I'm looking at the spreadsheet. So hello, Dave. Will, the Delta pilot here, former US Air pilot, former Continental pilot, former pilot for Saudi operations, and all the other goodies. Star check, if that means anything to you. Anyways, Will, the Delta pilot here, looking forward to today's show. My Pi projects, RetroPie, mostly done, great. The most fun part for me about RetroPie after you get it installed is finding the sites that have the downloadable ROMs and then parking and just getting them loaded. I spent an evening one night, a few hours, throwing about 4,700 games up there. I have another 5,000 games that I haven't bothered. I just don't want to kill myself for 3 or 4 or 5 hours doing all that when I have these that I'm never going to get through. And I try and play a different one or two every couple of days. File server accessible when I'm out on trips. Okay. A ton of ways to do that. I would take a look at our Nextcloud episode. Let me see if I can whip that up real quick. I know that I can actually, so stand by. All right. I did it in 2021, not 2020. 2021, almost over. Holy Hannah. Nextcloud, there it is. Okay, I did it on May 28th. I'm posting a link on the chat right now. And this is an awesome way to have a, this is the same thing as, yeah, what's the cloud thing? I got one right here, Dropbox. Or a couple of the other ones, Cloud, Box. I use Box as well as my alternative. And that'll get you definitely going. And then you can set up port forwarding and a certificate and make that accessible to you and 1,000 of your closest friends. And finally, an ADS-B receiver. I have done that. I have one. That's a dedicated box. I never screw around with that box. I never updated. I never upgraded. Got an ADS-B in there, and it sends to an ad hoc Wi-Fi on my Android device. You can stick it on, an Android tablet or an Android phone, and you can do that. So it's a little traffic monitor for me when I fly light aircraft. And you can also just mount the antennas here and use it for local weather and for status of planes that are in reach. You can send that data to FlightAware and places like that. Really, really fun project. I didn't do it here, and I'm not going to. That is aviation geek stuff, and that makes 4 of us on this forum. I would love to do it. And if anybody's ever interested, we might, maybe I'll do a pre-recorded one, and you can just take a look at that in an archive format. It's a lot of fun if you're interested in that kind of thing. All right, catching back up, 2:02. How are we doing here? It's 23 after. I'm only 21 minutes behind. That's all right. We're in good shape. Lots of people talking to each other, so I can roll by here. Scott Jernigan is a ham, but he's not a ham operator like us. But yes, he's a ham actor. He does have flair. Reading messages to yourself. Zach Morrow, can't at you yet, Dave. You haven't messaged. Oh, I'm sorry. I will type hello all. That's true. You're not reachable on the forum here with @ until you've typed in something. Sorry about that. Right. Let's stick with that. Very good. Okay, moving on here. Lots of intercommunications. Magic, you know darn well when you cast your spell, you know darn well when you cast your spell. Very good. Nice pun. I got 10 others too. You can do magic. Right. Tears, blood, eye. Jason, I'm trying to ignore these conversations in between people, but Zach, I'm not even sure what's going to be there. I'm not reading the rest. Okay. Ping, how to get better at using Linux after learning the basics? How do you get better driving? How do you get better folding clothes after you learned how? Do it every day. Always have a virtual machine or a Raspberry Pi that you can hit with SSH, and just experiment. Start with the help command, start with man and some kind of command, ls, and then just try everything to your heart's content. Watch one of my shows, find a new command in there, find something cool and do it, and just practice, practice, practice. I got to tell you, I'm not great. I'm decent now, but I'm 10 to 50 times better than I was 72 episodes, because I had pretty much, I play with it a little bit way back and can use really fundamental commands, but doing this for the last year and a half or so, year and a quarter, has made me sound like I know what I'm doing, and I'm functional enough now that I can even troubleshoot and find out, but there's so much more. But you just got to do it every day, and beat those basics to death. The basics are basics, but there's so much more to them. So you learn how to do the ls command, and you learn maybe ls minus a and ls minus l. Well, there's 400 other flags that go with ls. Just start experimenting with it. You can't hurt anything with ls. Play with different ways to connect with SSH. Play with VNC. Play. There we go. That's the right answer. It's not just practice, it's play. Oh God, I hope this doesn't go down the road. I'm afraid it's going to go. At 212, Zach Morrill, Dave, on a scale of A+, N+, Sec+, how difficult is Linux plus? And is it worth doing if I don't need the cert? Just use the learning material to get better. Right. If you don't need the cert, then no, it's not worth doing. As you say, however, look, I know the work that you do. I know the work that you've upgraded to do, and I have an inkling of what you want to do after that. Knowing Linux is becoming a critical skill in not just the support side of things, but even in the support side, maybe even less so in the support side. But as you move up through the ranks, you've got to know what's going on. And companies are running Linux apps to run their operations. They got users running Windows, and what's running behind the scenes? Linux. And what happens when it goes down? Somebody's got to know. Somebody does know. We either hire a consultant or we've got an in-house expert, and buckle up with those folks and learn from them, intern from them when the time permits, as you can step away from your own jobs. Read it. Yeah, I really believe it is, as a career path tool, an invaluable addition to your arsenal. When I think of Magick, I read Tullowit, and then I think, and I'm afraid to just read the rest, but okay. Okay. I heat up, I can't cool down. Don't fill me in on this, but I'm totally brain farting on the group. I can see him. I can actually see the band on stage. And oh, Steve Miller. Okay. I walked out on a Steve Miller concert one day. Ask me about it on Discord. Ooh, I super scrolled. There we go. I had highlighted. I did good. Siegfried's here. Wow, congratulations to Siegfried. Siegfried got himself a government job, or at least is on his way to finishing securing it. So that's wonderful. And when we met Siegfried, he had a lot less background than he does now, and he's advancing through life and work, and it's really fantastic. And the quantity of study materials that Siegfried has accumulated is incredible. I have nothing to compare. I can't say it's bigger than my Green Abyss of Packers thing. No, Andrew is born and raised Philly and dyed in the wool Eagles fan. All right, finally getting up to the stuff that Scott posted. He's got the special posted at 2:13, and he has our Discord invitation link. Oh man, how far are you going to do? We're going to do heart, huh? Carla Rain is here. Hi, Dave, and hi all. Hi, Carla. Very good to see you. We're just about caught up with all the questions here. Windows updates always break things. Man, you know who suffers the most from that is Scott. Scott hasn't been able to print off of his computer for years, perhaps. And every time we think we have it knocked out, a new upgrade comes by, update, and we can't print again. Thanks, man. Thanks for your appreciation of my patch joke. I felt the need. Okay, I got an answer for that question, Zach. Why are those patch cables so chunky? Because the specific purpose that I have for this, it's kind of embedded where I have to go in, and I don't want to, kind of use fingers reaching into that hole to do it. I want to be able to get a little bit more grip on them. So I use a chunky patch cable for this particular use. Not my normal. I usually use the normal stuff that's 3/8 inch wide, or maybe 1/2 inch, or in metric 12.5 centimeters. But this particular use called for a chunkier one. All right, I posted 221, the link to our Nextcloud episode. Never upgrade it. That can make a vulnerability. Sure. Jason at 223. Dave, can you explain port forwarding and what it's used for? We mention it a lot at work, but I don't understand it. And it has to do with port numbers. Okay, I would love to do port forwarding. My shared server, my shared web server is available to you today. Let me get this commercial out of the way because it's related, at pirsquare.zapto.org. P-I-R-S-Q-U-A-R-E, pirsquare, Zapto, Z-A-P-T-O.org. Now it's sitting right here on the desk in front of me, behind my NAT router, which means you can't get to it. Your stuff behind your NAT router is safe. You can initiate contact from behind a NAT router through the NAT router to the public side, to the WAN side, and anything that you contact out there has permission to respond back. That can come back through your NAT router. NAT does its magic and makes sure that communication takes place, but it doesn't work the other way around. If you've got a NAT resource, I set up a web server. Here's one. Here's my latest and greatest handy dandy web server. It's plugged in, it's powered on, and it's connected into my local area LAN side of my NAT network. You can't get to it. There's nothing you can do to get through my firewall. The NAT router is configured in such a way that it does not allow access from the outside by somebody who initiates contact. Well, that's where port forwarding comes in. In port forwarding, we take a router. Here's one, we'll pretend. Got my WAN side of the router, got my LAN side of the router. It's a NAT router. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a port, one of the 128,000 ports that's in this router and mostly available. I'm going to pick a TCP port. Maybe I'll pick a UDP port, probably TCP. And let's say that it's port 80. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to port forward that. And what that's going to do is that's going to open up the WAN side of this thing for someone to contact the IP address of the WAN side on this port. They could use a browser. Browsers automatically call for port 80. They could use some other utility that doesn't normally use port 80. And you would type in my public IP address, 1.2.3.4, we'll pretend, :80. And that will get into my router. But big deal. The only thing that would help is if my router had an internal port 80 process that I had enabled and allowed to access from the outside. I don't want to do that. So here's what I'm going to do. I have a device, a web server inside the NAT side of my router, and his IP address is 10.10.10.10. Make it easy. So what I'm going to do is part of the port forwarding here, I'm going to say, if anything ever comes in to this IP address, port 80, I want you to take that inbound traffic and I want you to send it to this IP address and some port that's running in here. It's a web server, it's port 80. So I'm going to port forward inbound port 80 to 10.10.10.10 port 80. And now I have enabled an outside host to contact me through my NAT router into the LAN side of my NAT network. That's what port forwarding does. It allows an outsider, an outside host, to initiate contact with a LAN side inside host. And so what you do is you pick a port that you want someone to send traffic to, and then define what this router should do with that inbound traffic. Specify what host IP address is in your LAN network and what port you want to send it. So it doesn't have to be port 80 to port 80. I could do inbound port 7000 to port 80. That's kind of like security by obscurity. The only way to get to my web server in here is if I tell you the secret port that I forwarded in here. Here's my IP address, 1.2.3.4, and the port you should use is 7000. So you open up your browser, you type in 1.2.3.4:7000. It goes in here. I have that directed to 10.10.10.10.80, and it'll happen. And then this will respond back, and NAT and port forwarding will do its business. So I've got that set up on my pirsquare.zapto.org web server with one minor difference. That's port forwarding. That's the answer to your question. And there's no limit to how many ports you can forward. But I did one other thing. I registered my public IP address on my router with a DDNS, a DNS server that tracks my IP address and lets me call it pirsquare.zapto.org, so I don't have to tell everybody my public IP address and how to access it. And I do leave it forwarded as port 80, sends to port 80, and I also have port 443 forwarded, so you can access that. You can also do one other thing. Let's say I'm nuts and I want to open this box, whatever it is. It's got an FTP server and a Nextcloud server and a web server and a Samba server and and I want anybody to access it anytime they want. Well, I'm going to do a special case of port forwarding. You know the term. It's called DMZ. When you set up a device in a DMZ, what you're doing is port forwarding every port that's in your router here, 1 through 65,335 TCP ports and 1 through 65,335 UDP ports. And anything that comes in for any of those ports gets sent to this box. This box has an IP address that I put in the DMZ, the demilitarized zone of this router. That would be nuts. There are better and safer ways to do that, but that's the basic form of DMZ. It's super insane port forwarding that CompTIA wants us to know about. Hope that helps. Dave, you won something, said Will Shaw. Super scrolling. Wow, have you flown around? Wow, you've flown around. Yep, Star Trek. Yeah, AirNet, way to go, man. You flew for their competitor, Flight Express. Okay, thanks for the info. Very nice. And I love flying for Star Trek. That was so much fun. Star Trek was a business that uses piston aircraft and jets to fly checks, canceled checks to central sorting houses, and then resend them back out to the originating banks. And I only mention that. I don't want to tell you about their business. I don't care about that. I have lots of great stories to tell you. Ask me about it sometime on Discord. But one of the things we had to do, I started out in pistons like everybody does. And it was a plane that I had been flying for years and years and years. So I started out pretty good with it. And they sent us down to Florida to an outfit that has some simulator type devices. They're called FTDs, to train in. And one of the owners of that particular training company and facility is a gentleman named Gene Cernan, who was the last man to walk on the moon. He's still around. And he was there all the time, every day. And he would just go find a table full of people that were sitting for lunch and come in and shoot the breeze. And, be bored by getting asked the same zillion questions that he always gets asked. But Gene sat down at my table one day, and there's 2 or 3 of us, and there was just the 4 of us, me, 2 guys, and Gene. What a joy. What a great, great opportunity. And flying has generated all kinds of fun opportunities like that, flying VIPs and such. All right, Alex, the master of Linux around these parts. Tell you what, Dave Rush is going to be that. Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Patch. Magic is such a good word in songs to work with. Okay. I'm about to take LPI Linux Essentials test. There's two. No, there's only one LPI needs. And yeah, it's learn by doing OS. Yeah, it's a nice, compared to Linux Plus, fairly easy set of exam. The Essentials is you're working with CentOS, okay, and KDE Plasma Desktop. Very good. CentOS, of course, as you're probably aware, is just about officially dead. It dies this month or next month and is being replaced by both Rocky and by Alma Linux, and of course, backed up by Fedora, and then it all roots from Red Hat Enterprise Linux, our hell. I'll read this one from Zach. I'm scared. Scott Jernigan is the reason you can't print because you're using Apple products. Nice. I'm glad I didn't read that all silently to myself first. That was fun. Dave, radio power or transmit power for your Wi-Fi, asked Jason. Are there any downsides to adjusting the power? I know it'll be lower range of signal. Yeah, so adjusting power, could that be a negative thing like walls? Yes. Increasing power, if your settings in your router allow that, has upsides and downsides, and likewise reducing power. Some people reduce power because they're using it in an enclosed area. We only want you to connect to this WAP if you're here in this room, so we make it very low, and that prevents people on the other side of the wall and the outside from accessing it. Now, maybe, if that's your intent, then cool bananas. If you're reducing it because you hate the people in the office next door, they're part of your company, and you're just trying to monkey with them, maybe that's not so good. And likewise, the opposite is true. Yank up the power, and people from beyond your facilities or your intended facilities, perhaps your normal facilities, will be able to access that signal. And then whether or not they can communicate is a function of the reception capability of the router. You need a good directional antenna pointed in a direction that you want to receive that high power facility, or their device that they want to use to connect to your WAP has to have a good strong signal or directional antenna. But sure, it's pros and cons all the way around. I can't print because my computer is connected to wires. That's okay. We argue over what the reason is all the time, but we never come up with the solution. So any one of us could post what we believe it is, but we never seem to be right, at least in the long term. Tell it. How long are you going to do that? Talking to Scott. BM is here. Which Linux related questions do people usually have issues with in the A+? Okay, so I did an episode over a year ago on all the commands that you have to know for A+. Now, the good news is it's a low percentage in the domain of questions that you're going to have to get asked. And there's not a big list. You've got to know LS, how to log in. Gosh, it's been so a while since I've looked at these things. You've got to know the commands that you need to use in command line FTP: get, put, mget, mput, buy to log out, a couple of others. I have never heard a report of who's missing what. And the usual reason is because there's 1, 2, worst case 3 questions about Linux commands, and I would be stunned to see a CompTIA exam A+ that had 3 Linux command questions in it. So I'm thinking if most people miss anything, I missed one, move and go on, and I won't even put any thought into it. So I don't have an answer for that. I'm sorry. Know them all, then you can't go wrong. How are we doing here? 45. And getting to the end of the questions. David Zintera here. New World Order DMZ is a subnetted network. Somebody posted me a question about VLANs and DMZs and asked if they're the same. That's the question I'm going to answer later today on Udemy as soon as we get done with the show, before I head over to Discord. And DMZ certainly should be, among other things, a a subnetted network, but the safe way to do a DMZ, yeah, screen subnet is the current terminology for Sec Plus, Net Plus, and possibly some upcoming CompTIA certifications. So yeah, not subnet and a screen network, but the way to do it safely, Mike has described this in the past, and sometime if you ever need, I'll do one, is to do it with two routers. You have your network over here, it's connected to a router to the DMZ, which in turn is connected to a router to your ISP, and then your DMZ host or host are in that kind of middle loop. Yep, that's the new politically translation. Why did it change DMZ to screen subnet? Exactly right. Well, DMZ, right? It's got the word military in it. That's a word that's not acceptable anymore. It's I don't want to use the word woke. It's part of the cancel culture. Okay, that's a word that's been canceled. Hey, welcome, TD Washington. And I know all your other names, but I'll stick with TD Washington because that's what you switch with. All right, very good. We are caught up on Questiones here. Let me check my notes. A couple of things I want to talk about, and then we'll get on to the project. Today's project, by the way, you can do on any Linux distro. The product we're going to use today is available for just about everything. Obviously, we're going to do it on a Raspberry Pi because this is drama. Dave Roche asked me anytime using Raspberry Pis to enhance our studies. That's done. Where we been? Last week, we looked at reasons and methods to set up static IP addresses in a Raspberry Pi. Works on that and other Debian. The way I did it was on Raspberry Pi operating system, which is a Debian distro, and therefore that method will work on all Debian-based distros, including Ubuntu and Debian. Today, we're installing and exploring this graphic management utility called Magick, ending in CK. It's actually called Image Magick. And remember, if it goes too fast, and I got a lot of stuff, I got a lot of slides, download my archive documents from today. I've got good stuff in there. I've got 5 different slides with details about particular useful websites, a step-by-step process on how to do the complicated install of Image Magick that we're going to do today. I'm going to show you a simple install and a complicated one. Well, why not choose the simple one? Because the results are different. The simple one gives you a simplified version of Image Magick. So I want you to be able to have the full access. It's a long look. It's a 1-page document, and it's not nearly as painful as a page full of text would seem. There's only about 6 or 7 commands in there. They're not complicated. You can copy and paste them. But anyways, all that stuff is documented. And of course, the full step-by-step and everything that I've said, almost everything that I've got in my notes here, you will be able to read on a PDF. Just go to pirsquare, pirsquare.zapto.org. All right, news, tricks, and techniques of the week. Oh man, I deleted that from yours and I didn't delete it from mine. And did I update the new stuff in mine? No. Okay, well, good. Giveaway voucher, that's up. All right, let me see if I can do it from memory or if I can pull it up from I'm just going to pull it from the other document because I had a couple of really interesting things that I did want to share with you. Go over here, open up this document. There it is. And it's open, and we go to news. Okay, there we go. It's just a few things in here. I can copy and paste that into mine and the world will be happy, yeah? Sorry, just got to do 14 seconds worth of editing. Scroll, 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 get rid of all this stuff, get rid of all this stuff. There we go. We are done. Okay, save that. And now we're back in biz. So, oh, that's a duplicate. So I mentioned this at the beginning of the show, but not everybody's here then, so I'll mention it now. There are 2 Fridays left in this year, Christmas Eve on the 24th and New Year's Eve on December 30th, whatever day that is. 31st, something like that. Anyways, I'm doing shows on both of those days. There'll be short shows, no projects, just Q&A, and we're going to hang out long enough to get some people to turn up to do a contest. So I'm going to give away vouchers at each of those shows, a voucher at each of those shows. All right, here's something cool. Here's something I want you to do. We're going to carry this on for a while until people get bored with it or until nobody participates. I got a new task assigned to me at the office. Among other things, it is now my job, I love this job, to be the person who picks what the discount code for this week's discount special is. So I'm the one who's come up with the last two, Record and Drake, and they've had reasons. And I will continue to do that. I would like your suggestions. Don't send it to me on the chat here. Send it to me, email daver@totalsem.com, and give me a one-word suggestion for the weekly discount code, and I want an explanation for your suggestion. I will queue up all the ones that I like, and I will use them week to week to week. It'll be fun. So you get to help me pick the discount code for the week. Keep them clean, keep them short. Think about this. Think about when Dave or Mike has to say, the discount code is fabulous. Who's going to be able to do that? And same things for, rake. That sounds like rake and bake and snake and fake and break. You get the idea. So make them pronounceable words that when we say them, they will be easy for folks to understand. That's the criteria that I'm going to be looking for. Let me see. Because of time, I'm going to, okay, back channel. Feel free, if you would, to throw up the friend of show plugs. I'll throw that up here for just a second, just because I'm kind of obsessive compulsive and it's in my notes and therefore I have to do it. So let me share this with you real quick. We've got some friends of this show who have blogs that they would like to share with you and other things. Scott's posting them in the back channel or in the chat feed as we speak. And in the meantime, you could always just pause your screen and take a look at this. Andrew told me he's working on a new document right now. He has a blog at WordPress, tgasec.wordpress, where he talks about security topics. There we go. And Tulowit's got a channel, and hopefully he does slices of life in Hawaii. And I'm hoping that he got some stuff with their cold weather schlog they had a week or so ago. Elbow hasn't been around here for a while, but I haven't checked his website if he's done anything recently, but he does reviews of inexpensive, cheap hardware and software for computing. And Bearded IT Dad has a YouTube channel where he talks about growing your career in the IT field. Nice guy too, a lot of fun. We see him on Discord. We see him on the AMAs and other places. Okay, shrinky dink that. Does that take care of everything? Yeah, we're at the project now, and we got a couple seconds before we have to start. So let me catch up on questions. Man, that's incredible. I have something badly awry I can fix, but how it got so awry, I will never know. And I apologize, I must fix this, because otherwise there ain't no show. How the heck did that happen? That's just weird, weird, weird. Almost there. Hang on. Copying, pasting a bunch of stuff. Okay, all the stuff all the friend of show links were posted at 252 by Scott. Thank you. Okay, that's all copied. And we put it over here. Somehow, some way, I've got notes. My show is last week's show, and I don't know where or how that possibly happened, but here we go, replacing it with this week's, as I at least had it in another document that I knew where it was. Yay. Man. I know what's going on. I'm overwriting some document that I had last week, and it's just not going to be fun, but that's all right. We got last week's, and I can download it from the past if I so choose. What a mess. All right, don't delete this. So this week's project, we're going to get into after I check the last questions here. So we left at 242. The new, okay, high checking. There we go. The super. Okay, good. There's not too much to catch up on. TDI Washington was last thing. This magic moment. How far back did you have to go to pull that one off? Who the heck did that? Was it like ink spots? I can't think of the, I can't come up with that one. Can we cancel the cancel culture? Andre, apparently they found another vulnerability on servers the day after. Yeah, for the log4j, patches came out right away for log4j, and then the day after that, another vulnerability was discovered. Now they were ranking the vulnerability of the first catch 8 or 9 out of 10. The second one was like 3.2, so not nearly as serious, but because it was found so quickly. I don't know if a new patch has been released. I didn't look today, but they are obviously on top of this. They're working real hard and real quickly. Zach, Andre, yes. They didn't fully patch it. Reduced to 3.7. Okay, look at that. We're reading the same stuff, Zach. Cool. Tullowed, nothing about the weather, sadly. I didn't. Oh, okay. Next blizzard. Well, there's still more winter coming, right? Jay and the Americans. Okay, thanks. Oh, Drifters and Jay and the Americans. Okay, 2 people. Drifters is the version I'm thinking of. There we go. I know that one. All right, cool. Caught up on questions then. Let's do a project. The project is called Image Magick. It is both a command line image manager. It edits, it creates, it transforms, and there is a GUI version of it that it doesn't do nearly everything that the command line can do. Maybe 2% of what the command line can do. So to describe it, if you use the GUI version, and I'll do a quick demo on it, it looks like a super duper light version of GIMP or Photoshop or Illustrator, something like that. I mean, really super light. The command line is not particularly complicated, but there is a lot of options, and we're just not even going to scratch the surface. We'll do maybe 4 or 5 of them, something like that, as quick demos. There's good full documentation at the Image Magick site, and I'll give you those links. I have a bunch of useful links in the document that I'm reading right now, and I don't think that I made a dedicated slide for that. So make sure you download my archives. I do have a whole bunch of other slides that have links and useful tools in there. But this list that I have of things that I use to research for doing this presentation, I didn't make a dedicated slide. So download the zip file and unload this. It's the biggest PDF file in there. I don't know how big it is, but it's got a good list, and it's right after where we start saying this week's projects. All right, moving on that. What do I want you to know out of that? No, nothing. Note to self. Yeah, I got a note to self here about which server I'm using this on. All right, 2 ways to install. Let's just talk about those 2 right off the bat. Let me get a shared Raspberry Pi up and running. Isn't that just unusual? We can do that. Oh, that's right. I rebooted this last night. I didn't bring up every utility. Okay, do that. Shrink this. Got a shared server there. That's all updated. Oh, good. There's no new updates to happen. Excuse me. Now we share. This one shares very well. Okay. Scott, would you send a message back to Janelle and say, okay, I'll be on it next week, or I'll be on it when I get back in the office? Thank you. All right. So here is a Raspberry Pi 3 server Thank you, sir. And I did this on Raspberry Pi 3 to say you can do it. I made an error. I think this will work better on a 4. It's got a faster processor, but they all have 4 cores. And Magick does use all 4 cores, unless you make an installation configuration that says, I only want to use 1 for some reason. The problem with my install is this is a card I slapped in this box about 3 weeks ago that I picked at random, and it's a slow 16 gig card. So I'm not going to do some of the things because they happen very slowly, but I'll at least show you the commands. All right. So as with everything, whenever you're going to do an install of some new piece of software, start it with a sudo apt update. And if you so choose, you should probably also do then sudo apt up. I always do -y. So I say, yes, I really want to do this in advance upgrade. It won't take long to do this, but I'm not going to do it because I did it last night. All right. So now installing Magick the easy way, really simple, straightforward, sudo apt, or if you prefer apt-get, that's one of the Linux commands that you have to know for CompTIA A+, apt-get. They don't know about the existence of apt. Install, and then real simple, all lowercase, Magick. And I won't hit the enter key on here because it'll say you've already got it installed. But it's a very quick install. About I got notes on how long. Stand by. I want to see it. I'm trying to remember if it's 3 minutes or yeah, that one's about 3-minute install. And so once you've got that installed, now you're going to see it appear here in sound and graphics. So there's Magick. You can see it says color depth quality is 16. We can make it higher or lower. And here she comes in the lower corner. Great, thank you. Scott posted 2 of the Magick links that I have for you to refer to. Their primary website, which is imagemagick.org, is one, and I'm not sure which other one he posted because I've got like 18 of them. But all right, so once you get this thing up and running, this is kind of a weird thing. I right-click, and you can go down here, but if I just release the right-click, it goes away. If you left-click, that menu that appears here when I right-click turns up there permanently. So with this, you're going to pick a file or files. You can do next if you have a list of files that you want to manage. You open one. And this is kind of a funky thing. Notice I can't get this closed. I'm using my escape key. Go back over there. There's how you close it. And then you determine what kind of, this is editing. If you've done some kind of transformation to it, you can undo, you can redo. Obviously, you can view things. Transforming is what most people do with this thing. And the transforms that exist in here are pretty traditional. In fact, it's almost the same stuff that you can get using Microsoft Paint. Now, the chopper is a little different. Chop means you're going to chop out a slice of a graphic. And you can do that in one of 2 ways. You can chop out this piece of it and keep it, or chop out this piece and merge the resulting 2 outside pieces together. Flipping and flopping are a little different. Not going to get into that. You can shear things. And so it's pretty boring. You can apply effects. These are kind of fixer effects. Some of them adding speckle, again, add speckle with this one, you add speckle with other stuff. So very, like I said, just take this as a super reduced set of your favorite Photoshop type application. You can draw within things. Now, matting is going to be an important thing we're going to do later. Adding borders, adding frames, that gets kind of cool. We're going to do a little bit of that. Drawing them. They don't have in here text. Wow, somebody's home very early today. I don't know what that means, but okay. All right, so call it cool, but not what I want to focus on. And there's so much stuff you can do with the command line that you can't do with that. Now, if you use the install that we just did, there is a bunch of command line tools that got added to them. And the big common one is a command line tool called convert. And believe me, it's a lot longer than this with the kinds of conversions you can do. I'm going to show you. Look at it, I'm scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And am I going to make it to, yeah, I made it all the way to the top without it totally taking the thing. These are just massive numbers of kinds of edits that you can do. And one other thing that this does not do when you do that simple install, there is a command when you do the full flavored install called Magick. Now, I didn't do the simple install here, so this command will work. If you try and run Magick and you did the simple install, you're not going to get anything. It looks like there's not much going on here. That is misleading. There is so much stuff when you select the tool and then the appropriate options for them. It gets powerful. All right, let me bring out my notes and see what kind of order I wanted to do this in. Reading notes, reading notes. Okay, did that, did that. When it opens, that's how to play with the GUI. All right, so here's one of the problems with the GUI version, besides the fact that it's limited, it doesn't have all the tools as the command line, is when you want to work on something, when you want to edit something, even if you're just happy with using that limited number of edits, you get to do it one file at a time. By using the command line, you can work with multiple files at a time. And one of the really awesome things about the command line version is it has a scripting language. So you can write scripts, grab this batch of JPEG files and perform the following edits on them, frame them, border them, add the following text to them, and there's variables supported, and you could do 10,000 of them on a script. Hey, let's go crazy. How about doing that as a cron job? You can schedule those to happen daily. All day long, this thing gathers images. Maybe it's doing time-lapse photography. Maybe it's a repository for received images from security cameras around your place, whatever. And at the end of the day, I want these all to have titles texted onto them into the thing. I can write a little script that'll do all of that. And I can include in that script on my cron job. When you're done, send them out of this computer and over to that storage device. It just gets nuts with the power that it has. We can use the convert command or the convert command. We can use the Magick command. There's a whole bunch of others. I'm just going to expose you to two of them today, Magick and convert. Image Magick is free. It's open source. It has versions for every major Linux distros. There's a version for Windows. There's a version for Mac. There's a version for iOS, and there's a version for Android. It'll run single core if you wanted to, but it automatically detects multi-core processors and automatically uses all of them. All right, pretty sure that Scott posted the instructions for what I'm going to do next, how to install it the hard way. Now I have in my document downloads, a PDF says how to install Image Magick, and that has all these steps that I'm going to type in for you here, but I'm not going to hit the enter key on them because now comes the serious stuff. By the way, if you've installed Image Magick with the sudo apt install method, uninstall it before you do this. Sudo apt uninstall Image Magick. It'll uninstall in a couple of seconds. Now this is about a 7-step process, and I'm just going to show you the commands. As I said, you can copy and paste them right out of my PDF. Come here, you. Oh, it's I was trying to backspace over a period. It's a smudge on my monitor. So the first command that we're going to do the hard install, the long install, is do a git clone. I'm going to pull a bunch of files out of a location on GitHub. Oh, really? You're going to make me go back to this every time? Fine. And then wherever you were when you ran that git clone, it's going to make a folder underneath you called Image Magick -7.1.0, or might be something newer by then. And so you're going to CD into it, which I can do. It's already here. It's still there. Okay. So my git clone created this folder and it put a whole bunch of stuff in there. Makes sense. So those two commands are quick and painless. And then this next one isn't too horribly long. Come here, you. Oh, yeah. That's all it is. I'll just type it in manually here. You type in .whack configure. And this will take about 4 to 5 minutes for it to do configuring. Now, what it's configuring is the files that are going to be used to create the program. You're actually going to create this program from source code. All this junk is source code and some other accessories. And then the command. This is going to be the one that technically finishes up the job, but there's 2 other commands that will run after the fact. You're going to type in the command when that one's all done in 4 or 5 minutes, the word make, and you'll just hit the enter key there and then go away. Mine took 50 minutes to do everything. It looks like it's going to get done fairly quickly. Oh, by the way, that last command, the configure command, it takes 4.5 minutes. The first minute or so, nothing seems to happen. It's all happening in the background. So don't panic, just be patient. And this one goes through list of making and installing files, or making files anyways. And they're alphabetical. Hey, look, I'm getting into the W's. It's going to be done now. Oh no, it starts with another list of the alphabet, and then another, and then another, and then another. So walk away. Took mine about 50 minutes. I was on a slow card, so there's a chance that it would happen quicker with a quicker card, but it wouldn't be that much quicker. Now, if for some reason the build command or the make command fails, try it again, only use gmake. I'm not going to type that in. It's in my step-by-step instructions. So when that's all done, now you're going to install it. You've created the program. It's ready to install. You simply say sudo, oops, I typoed here. I want to make sure I get the word right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Another make, but this time we're not doing a make, we're doing a make install. And I was really terrified when I ran a 50-minute make and thought, how the heck long is this one going to take? And I was pleasantly surprised to learn that it took 30 seconds. Yay. So it's done. It's now installed. There are 2 tests that you'll run to see if you were successful. One of them, oh, actually, this one's on a test. There is in the instructions an optional installation. It says you may need to configure the dynamic linker to runtime bindings. I don't know what that means. I have an inkling, I got a general idea, but I am not that much of a Linux guru yet. But the good news is run this command. I ran and it didn't hurt anything. Everything worked all week. So you're going to run a sudo ldconfig and then this path. And it took 40 seconds on mine. And again, everything worked just great. I didn't have to go back and undo anything. So happy place. Now it's done. Now the potentially optional program is installed. So here's 2 tests. I've already done this test. I don't know what happens if I run this again. Oh, yeah, I do. I didn't actually look at it. So this is the test, just to see if this command is successful. All you do is run this user local bin convert logo to logo.gif, and it will go read a logo.something file, JPEG, PNG, or whatever, and turn it into a GIF, or it'll take all the files that start with logo. That's what that colon does in this language. And it'll make a GIF file. Now, what I didn't do was try and see what that GIF is. So let's make sure it's here. I may have done that elsewhere just to try it. Nope, there it is. There's logo GIF. So I got a browser here. Let's browse to it. There's a reason that image is up there. In any browser, if you want to go open a file, you do Control O. Come here, you. Take your time. I'm not going to wait for it. If it turns up, I'll do that. But you do Control O, and then just hunt your way down through the path, home, pi, whatever that Magick 7.1.0 folder is, and you see the GIF file in there, logo.gif, and you'd give it a run. How much trouble did I put myself in for that? Okay, not too much. And then there's one other command that you can do to truly test to make sure you got the power command in here. Just run Magick --- help. If that works, then you know you got the Magick command in. If you got the Magick command, you got it all. So we are in business. Okay, here came everything. This is the last place that I was. He remembers that. Go up here to Pi, Image Magick, and it was logo GIF. So let's see what that GIF is. Oh, so it's a GIF, but it's a single image. So didn't really do anything. Okay. All right, so it's installed. You've got Image Magick running in your machine. I want to show you just a couple of things, a couple commands and some neat things that you can do. Some that I did last night because they're a little slow. And then we'll wind this project up in the next 15 minutes or so. We'll have a half an hour or so to kill. And we'll do a contest. We'll answer questions and do all the rest of that good stuff at that time. So there are three major functions that you can do with the command line Image Magick. You can create images. Now the images you create, they're not like painting. You're not going to, do curves and things like that, but you can create an image with shape or shapes in it. There's a whole bunch of predefined shapes that it knows how to work with. There are background patterns. You can just make an image with a checkerboard background pattern or bricks, or I'll show you the list of all the kinds of background patterns. And then there are all kinds of edits that you can do to image files, add stuff to them, text, graphics, composite, you can do overlays. There are literally hundreds of individual things you can do, and you can combine them together, therefore, into tens of thousands of things. It's big job. What most people use this for is converting. I've got a JPEG. I need it to be a PNG file, quick and simple. I want to make a bunch of files that were taken in sequence into an animated thing that self-plays like a GIF, So I think there are 4 reasons to use this program over some of the other ones, besides the fact it's free. It can be run very well from the command line. It can be scripted. You can therefore launch the script with cron tab or native commands, and it works easily with multiple files at the same time. There's APIs for common languages, so you can call and use this from Python or C++ or PHP or all kinds of other goodies. All right, just reading simple notes here. Oh yeah, it makes montages. We add decorative borders to images. You can blur, sharpen, bend colors, add image gradients, all these things that you can do with graphical versions. But again, you set this up as a program, as a command one time and run it on 50,000 files or 500,000. So I'm going to refer to this thing sometimes as IM instead of Image Magick. So let's do some real basic syntax. Let's convert a file from one kind to another. We'll do an ls and see what stuff we've got in here. Let's see, I got a couple empty fireplaces in here. Oh, did I put them in pictures? Nope, just walk up. Okay. Well, I got Raspberries here. He's my go-to guy that I've been experimenting with all week. So he's a JPEG file right now. Now, if you want to convert a JPEG into a PNG, you can't just change the name. You can actually do that, and most graphic viewers will show it, except what they do is they look in the header and they say, oh, this is a JPEG, even though it says it's a PNG or something else. And so I'll use my subroutines that know how to handle JPEGs. If we want to turn this into a real honest to goodness PNG file, we would say something like convert the name of the existing file, raspberries.jpg, and then whatever you want to call the new one. I can make it raspberries.png. I can make it newpng.png. Let's do that. Newpng.png. Now you might see over here this grow as a new file gets created. The good news is the old file doesn't go away. Bam. Okay, new one popped up. So let's take a look at raspberries.jpg. There's a reason for this. I hope I double clicked that. I don't think I did. There we go. All right, that's Raspberries JPEG. And notice that it's 25 by 60 and 2560 by 1600. And now where's my new PNG? It's alphabetical. There it is. Okay, same image, same size. It's showing me in 25%. But all right, so let's add a little bit. I don't want just another big PNG. I want, oops, a smaller one. So here's something I can do. I can add size and then the width and height of a new one. How about an 800 by 600? And we'll overwrite that new PNG that we did before. We'll leave this here. You're taking just a little longer than I expected you to take, amigo. But he's using all of his calculation power, there we go, to make appropriate compressions where they need to go. So here's our new PNG again. We'll double click him. Yeah, I got to refresh because the old one is cached. I don't know how to refresh the GUI version of this. I've never done that. Fine, let's just go up and then we'll go back in. Yeah, it's still got it cached up, but there is now a version that's 800 by 600. We'll just have to take it on faith. You can also accomplish the same thing. Instead of by specifying a width and length numbers, you can say size is 25%. And I don't know what 25% of 2560 by whatever that number was, but you get the idea. So that's the normal kinds of conversions that we do. And I know it worked just because I didn't get any error messages. This thing throws error messages with the tiniest simple thing. Well, I wish you would refresh. What happens if I close it and reopen? I'll take a minute to try that. But I think it's probably still going to be cached. Open up a shiny, nah, we'll see. Nah, still full size. Oh, well, you get the idea. Next. So we can, I could have left the same thing. Instead of converting it to a PNG, I could have made a new JPEG. And there's a whole bunch of supported file sizes here. There's a time to use size, and there's a time to use resize. So I get for not using notes, right? There we go. 800 by 600. 500. I typoed it, huh? No, that's a 6. I just can't read it. Okay, good. All right. Same thing for percentages goes. All right. So I learned that at the beginning of the week, right? I forgot it by the time the end of the week rolled around. Now, a couple of years ago, I wanted to make a GIF. And you've seen my GIF before on my personal website, my little side business website. It's one of these little disco balls spinning. So I took a bunch of still pictures of it while it was spinning, and I didn't know how to make a GIF then. So I used an online converter. I uploaded all the images. It didn't take long, and it spit out a GIF for me. And it asked me a couple of questions along the way, some of which at the time didn't make sense. But now that I've been playing with this and over the years, really kind of cool and useful. So let's make, and I'm not gonna hit the enter key on this one, as it can get hairy. This one takes a couple of minutes to do something this long. But let me go down into walk up, LS pictures. So I took some still images of me walking up to a decorated yard for Christmas decorations. And then I named them all in sequential order. And here's a couple ways that you can turn these into a GIF. We start with the convert command. And first of all, we specify how long between each image should we wait before the next image is displayed, and that number is in hundredths of a second. So about 0.3 seconds for this demo. And this is one where we use a size, not resize. If I used all those walk-ups, they're all 4K images, 2560 wide, it would take an hour for it to generate the GIF. So I made a smaller one here. And you can see I've already got it made. It's test.gif. And then this is something really cool. I never knew this until this week, because I haven't made a GIF since then. But when you open up a GIF file, like on giphy.com, you're going to post something on Discord or wherever you're going to post your favorite GIF, it automatically cycles some number of times, 1 time, 2 times, 5 times, whatever. I never realized that that was hard coded into the GIF, if you like, how many times. So you're going to specify that here on the command line by saying -loop and how many times it cycles. If you don't, with this GIF creator, use the dispose previous command, the old images won't go away. They will stack up on each other, and they don't stack up directly over top of each other. They tile down, so it's a mess. Maybe that's useful for some things, but for a traditional GIF, we want that to go away. So that's why this dispose previous is here. And then you identify the files that you want to be in the GIF. You don't have to list them the way I did them here. There were too many with 19 of them. It just took forever. So I listed the first 8 of them. That was much quicker, 9 of them. You can also use wildcards, glob them. You could say walkup-star.jpg, and it will pick them all in alphabetical orders. And then you specify the output file name for the GIF, and in a couple of moments, it's done. And so I'll show you what they look like. The first one happens real slow because the GIF reader in the browser has to read everything. And then and these are real jumpy. It's okay. It's not artwork. It was an experiment. So go with that. Bear with me. There's the first image loading. The other images are also loading in the background. So don't panic that this seems real slow. And that's why I looped it 5 times. So after this first one finally happens, this was happening a lot quicker last night when I was working on this, or 2 nights ago. We'll keep it going in the background and I'll work from here while that's happening. See, how bad is that? Not bad. Okay. I did all of that. So that's one of the cool things Convert can do. You can take a series of images and turn them into a GIF or GIF. Okay, almost done. Sorry, I'm so excited. I'm holding off here. It's my house. That's my yard display for this year. It's kind of on the same theme as last year. Okay, 1 leap in, 2 leaps in, 3, for, obviously this is happening slower than 30 milliseconds, so it's still that first loop. That's the abominables. Okay, so there goes 9 of them, and it'll loop a total of 5 times. I'm feeling like this is part of movie making, man. That should be it. Yep. All right, cool. Let's shrink that down. I don't think I have anything to show you in a browser anymore today. All right, I want to show you one other command in here. It's the heavy lifter command. It's the Magick command. Convert gets used a lot. Magick gets used frequently. There's my notes. There they are. And so with Magick, we can do things like create an image. And one of the common things that we can do is to make an image that's going to be a background for another image we might overlay. Let me show you a list ever so briefly of some of the backgrounds it can make, and then we'll do one. We'll make one here, and then I'll show you the results. Where's that list? There we go. Image Magick patterns. Share this. Now, this is a list that I have, of course, in the downloadables. You can get it from there. What are you doing? Why am I not getting that? Oh, I have to zoom this back out. Stand by. That's something I've never done. I got to stop this share and open up this share. Sorry. You can get this list from my downloadable documents. You can also get it from imagemagick.org, and you'll see it in their downloads. So every one of these is a little PNG file, and it's a tiny little file if you actually just look at it. It's about this big on my screen. But they've got brick patterns and circle patterns and all kinds of different gray patterns and whatever. So we got a checkerboard that we're going to do this first experiment with. Share this back up. And we'll use the Magick command to create this. Let me just copy this. I'm going to overwrite the one that I have. All right, so here's a command to create an image file that's just got nothing but a background file. I'm going to say Magick. Here's where we specify size, not resize. I made it small, 640 by 480. And then you select your pattern colon, and then you use the file name of one of those patterns in there without the extension, checkerboard, bricks, circles, whatever. And then here's the name of the file that we're going to create. We hit the enter key. Buzz, 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 grind, grind, grind. It's done. Now let's take a look at, what did I do? Checkerboard. There it is. And there's a 640 by 480 checkerboard. You can use that for whatever purposes. You can't change the size of these checkers, of these squares. They just are what they are. So I did another one, same command with bricks. And that's the brick pattern. And I want to do one more because I didn't look at this and I'm kind of curious what it is. How about instead of the pattern being checkerboard, we make it circles. And we'll call the file name, the output file name, circles.png. Circle background. Okay, done. Did you do it in the right folder? No, it's in the walk-up folder. Fool. There it is. Oh, okay. Bunch of circles touching each other. I had in my mind that would be different sized circles for some reason. All right, and then you can do all kinds of things with that. That can become a background as part of an overlay for something else. You can combine these, you can merge them together. There's just billions of tools and techniques that you can do with this. All right, just 2 more quickies on here, and that winds us up. Oh, adding borders. So if we look at, I don't have any that I've saved here with adding borders. We'll add 1 to 1 here. We're back to our convert command. So we're going to convert, we're going to add a 2x2 border. That means the border will be 2 pixels wide and it will be 2 pixels outside the file that we're working with. Let's work with raspberries.png. Ras border.png. Oh. Waiting for it to appear over here. Called it ras border. There it is. Raspberries, ras border. So hard to tell right now, but what it did is it added an invisible 2 pixel border all the way around. And I did it on the full size one. So how about we do that again with one minor change. Oh, heck, that's the hard way. Let's just do it this way and paste it in. Missing a quote there. So raspberries.jpeg to rasborder again .png. All right, so we're going to do another 2x2 border, but this time it's going to have some color. You got 3 colors in computer speak, right? Red, green, and blue. Each 2 digits, 2 spaces, represents a color intensity from 00 to FF. That's hex for 0 through 255. So I want 255 intensity red, 0 intensity blue, and 0 intensity green, RGB. That's no good because I got red raspberries. You're not going to see it very well. So how about we make red, no color, and blue. All right, look good. Raspberries.jpeg. Am I in the right folder? Oh. Convert. A space would have helped. So it's going to overwrite this Raspberry Pi border. There we go. And very hard to see. I can just see it on my screen here, but it looks kind of green on here, but there's a blue border around there now. I guess we could have made a bigger one here. Let's do that one more time with a 10 by 10. 10 by 6. I'm going to tell you about the last one. I want to show you a couple quickie things here to read, and then I'm done because there's other things we got to do here. I got a contest that we got to do in 20 minutes. All right, it's red, green, blue. I did RGB, so I made green borders here, and now you can see it's a little more intensely shown. All right, cool. There's one other really interesting command that I want you to at least see the command structure. There's millions of other commands. That's not fair. It's called the frame command. The frame command is like the border command with one notable difference. You can make a frame with the convert command, but it takes a huge command line to pull it off. So the frame command is like a super border command that has two borders that it makes. You specify how big the pixels are going to be and how wide they're going to be. And then at the corners of the borders, it does 45-degree lines. So it looks like they're three-dimensional. And then you can specify shadows. And you can get really crazy. You can specify, how wide the shadows are. By default, if I just do two numbers, it puts a shadow on the right side and the bottom, giving it more 3D effect. You can specify colors. You can specify different sides. Gets to be a lot of fun. So just for fun, we'll do one here. 10 3x3, fine. Raspberries. .jpeg to ras frame. Could have made a JPEG. I'll leave it as a PNG. Things get really complicated and really powerful if you like them to be. You can do, again, the fact that this is all scriptable is what really makes it magic. There's ras frame. And the pixels are so small, you can't see them. I should have made them bigger, but you can see some shadow down here. You can see shadow over here. I'm gonna try one more. That happened pretty quick. How about a nice 30 by 10 by 60 by 20. With 10 by 10 shadows. Okay, 60 by 20, 10 plus 10, ras frame, it's all good. And I'm not going to read the rest to you. All you got to do is see my notes. You'll be able to get them from there. Go to imagemagick.org. There we go, a little better. So I got some wider borders and shadows on this side. I didn't specify much on top and bottom, but you can have a lot of fun with this. And if you look up ImageMagick borders or examples, ImageMagick, you'll see some really, really great things that you can accomplish here. So ImageMagick, awesome, powerful. We need to know a little bit about differences between PNGs and JPEGs for A+. Here's the difference. JPEGs are lossy. When you zoom in on them, you're going to lose properties and shapes and sizes and pixels much more quickly than a PNG file. Now, there's vector graphics and there's raster graphics. That's a different animal. These aren't raster and vector, but one is much more lossy than the other. So let's go with that. All right, checking my notes here, see where I want to go. Is there anything important that I wanted to mention to you? Really important. Again, just get it from the documents because there's good stuff. All right, now that was everything that I wanted to do. So with that, let me check questions and then we will do a contest. Contest, you say? Okay, we left off with the drifters. Oh, wow, there was almost nothing that came up. How many people we got here hanging out? Enough to make a contest? You know, because there's only 3 of you. I'm just going to give it to Scott. Okay, did that. I want to see this. I want to see if we have any participants. 10 people, 3 employees and a bunch of other winners. I bored everybody. Somebody is going to win a contest, and it's going to be tough. It's a random number, as always. Get out of there. All right, so we're going to give away a voucher for one of the 10 people presently watching. Heck, I can almost pick the winner right now. I'm looking at people who've won and who haven't that are listed in here. Your odds are good if you haven't won a voucher before. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to open it up for second one since there's only 10 people here, and I got a big, broad range of numbers for you to select from. If you've won a voucher in the past, you may win another voucher today. Only if you've won one. Okay, I don't want people piling up and getting 13 vouchers, but if you've won no vouchers in the past on Mike's show or mine, or one voucher in the past on Mike's show or mine, you may win today. It's no harder or easier. I don't do practice test questions. It's a random number generator. So this voucher is good for any exam with possible problems with CYSA. Don't even bother to ask. It's got an issue. We don't know what it is. The winner, I will post information on how to collect your prize. You're going to send me an email with certain information in it I must have, and I'll remind you now. It says to include your email in there. It must be in the body of the email. Your email address has to be in the body. Let's see, I'll post information disclaimer. So I'm going to use a random number generator. I did use a random number generator. Boy, this is that messed up thing. It's got different numbers. I am not going to save this file when I get done because it's going to overwrite something that's wrong. I'll guarantee. All right, so here's the contest. I used a random number generator this morning to generate a random number. The number is between 600 and 900. Sorry, making note changes here to update this thing. The back channel has the winning number closest to without going over. I will allow multiple guesses, no more than 5. First person closest to without going over, no more than 5 guesses. You may have already won. I see lots. So there shouldn't be more than 50 guesses. Oh, 55. We got 11 people in here and 3 of them are employees. So 80 people, 80 guesses in here. All right, I'm looking and see if I can start tracking. Thank you, Scott. And Will. All right. So far, I see one winner. There's another. Let me see. Okay. Oh, that one just got closer. Nice. Okay, a few more minutes, a few more seconds. The winner that I have highlighted right now has not won in the past. I'm very happy to say that, and I'm going to weight it toward that. 5 more seconds. If nobody comes up with a closer answer in 5 seconds than the person that I have highlighted, I'm going to type this name in on the back channel and see if Scott agrees with me. All right, contest is over. All right, Scott, okay, he's typing now, I see him. Yeah, okay, Scott and I agree. Stand by, I got to go to another file and write this name down, and then I'll deal with the aftermath and throw. Scott, would you post the claim up? And then just what I always do, Scott, is replace voucher winner : with the name of the winner there. You can go ahead and post that or get it from that, or I'll say his name in a second. Today's the 17th. There we go. Type this name in here. It is, all right, Brent Peterson. You are the lucky winner of a CompTIA voucher, good anywhere in the world where CompTIA vouchers are used, can be taken. It's Peter S-O-N. There we go. Your guess was 652. The number was 678. I don't always do that, but I know somebody else who does, so I stole that idea from them. Wait a minute, that was a random number generator. That wasn't a stolen idea. 678. So congratulations, Brent Peterson. Scott posted the how-tos at 3:48. Copy and paste those if you would. And then you'll have the information. And if not, if you don't get this, just email me at daver@totalsem.com. But Brent Peterson, send an email to daver@totalsem.com. Include your YouTube name, your actual name, your real email address that you want CompTIA to have or use in the body of the email, which exam voucher you would like. Be specific. Don't say A+ or Sec+ or Net Plus. Those all have multiple things. So if it's A plus, I need 220-1001 or 1002 or whatever. That's why 0601 or N10-007-88. You get the idea. What country you'll be taking your exam in, and if that country is the US, specify the state. I need all that information. Please get that to me as soon as possible today. We pile up all of our winners from Mike's show and my show to today, and then I send them in as soon as I get the last one in. So as soon as yours comes in, they all get sent to CompTIA and they'll get working on them on Monday morning. Congratulations, Brent, and congratulations to everybody else. Man, if you know how close you were, some of you guys were, I was kind of counting winners along the way. BM was going to be a winner, and then Tullowit was going to be a winner, and then Brent Peterson got it. Those are my 5. I should have specified they must be on different lines, but they're 666. Twisted, Will. Twisted. Hey, my pleasure. All right. Well, any other questions to pop up here? And I will talk about one more time the rest of the show. Let me throw up contact there. Scott, would you throw up Discord link one more time? And the special link one more time. We've got 9 minutes. We can fill in with that. And I will bring up this to share. Since I learned how to share it totally, while that's coming up, I'll run through all my slides that were of interest today. All these slides are available, almost all of them, in the download archive documents from pirsquare.zapto.org. So you got my contact info, daveR@totalsem.com, likewise for Scott J. and Andrew H. There's my web server to get the archive documents off of. I will keep it running through the weekend, pirsquare.zapto.org. Here's the specials that Scott just posted. Go to totalsem.com. You can get a bundle for any of these packages that's comprised of an ebook and the Total Tester practice test questions for it. By the way, A+ includes both 1001 and 1002, Core 1 and Core 2 for both the ebook and the practice test questions. When you check out, use the code DRAKE at checkout. That code will expire Sunday night. Okay, Scott just posted them both at time 52 right now. And they're good till Sunday night. Like I said, email me your suggestions on, I think I got your email already, Brent. I just heard my email wonk on the email that I never use, my corporate email. So cool. Okay, there's the friend of show links. If you're interested in any of those, just pause your screen now and type them in manually. This is the how to install Image Magick document that I ran through the hard way. Again, it's not as painful. There's a command. There's a command. There's one. There's one. There's one. And this is the 2 test commands. So again, takes about an hour. Plan for all that. These are all of the commands and things that you can do with Image Magick. This list was taken from the imagemagick.org homepage. And they're each links on the homepage, so you can go into here and find out how to make GIFs and how to do blurring and how to add text and how to draw and how to do under decoration. That's where borders and frames are. It's pretty cool stuff. There's the instructions that detail this. That's where I got those from. What else we got here? There's their homepage, imagemagick.org. These are, we saw that, the list of patterns. You can find that on their downloads folder off of there. Here's today's Discord link, which Scott also just posted. I'll be on Discord about 5 minutes after the show. Hopefully Scott will join us because he doesn't have a Friday meeting anymore. Yay. But if he can't, it's the weekend. He's got work to do on his display. And then there's more voucher, it's a repeat of the voucher information for Brent Peterson and anybody else. And again, this is included in my download document. So if you've forgotten everything or lost it, you can download it from pirsquare.zapto.org. Nice. I'm through all those. I can close that all together and save a bunch of memory. All right. Any other questions popped up whilst I were doing that? Scott says, email Mike, Tullowit. What are you guys up to? Oh, man. We should talk about that on Discord or back channel, Scott, whether or not Tullowit should email Mike. Very good. Yes, I did hear it wrong, so I'll check it. Make sure that it has everything I need. I'll send you back a response if it does or if it doesn't, and then it'll get turned in tonight. So sweet. Okay, Scott posted links at 3:51. Mike, not my fan musing at this point. Yeah, okay. Corporate ale. Good. All right, well, let's wind things up then. Do you want to show, or Mike's got a show coming up this Monday, as he does every Monday and every Wednesday. This week is a special. He's bringing in a special guest that he's going to interview. Her name is Dominic Cerna. And some of you who hang on Discord may have noticed that Dominique joined us last night on the Discord channel. She sent me an email sometime yesterday evening, asked me for a link, and I sent it to her, and bam, she appeared in moments. So introduce yourself, get to know her a little bit, and then we'll see what Mike is going to interview her. I haven't spoken with her much other than coordinating, you know, how we're going to get her online and on the show and all that stuff. So I don't know much about her background. So it'd be interesting to see why Mike is bringing her on and what she has to talk about. He's got a regular Wednesday show slated, and then Friday, Christmas Eve, next Friday, I'm doing a short show, Q&A only, and a voucher. Same thing for the following week. As far as I know, Mike is doing a Monday, Wednesday show the final week of this year, and then I will do a short show New Year's Eve. Again, Q&A only, excuse me, and a voucher contest. Excuse me. All right, nothing else. Any other questions popped up in the importance? Yes, there is a Christmas Eve show. Very good. Dave's doing a show Christmas Eve because I'm a masochist, right? And this Monday show, man, that's got logistical challenges all over. I can't wait to tell you about it, but I'm not going to tell you about it today. But I have, I'm going to be the one who governs what time it shuts down, because I got an event that I do have to be at almost immediately after the show. I got just enough drive time to get from here to the show, or to the event, if the show ends on time, and therefore the show will end on time. Scott, if that doesn't look like it's possible, you and I are going to work out a contingency, and I have one all planned and ready for us to go. So with that, folks, as always, my thanks, especially to Scott for incredible support and back channel work, and the other work that he's doing while he's back there. I bet he's playing mandolin these days. He's been working real hard on that. Thanks to Andrew, Mike Myers for letting me do this, and mostly thanks to you. You guys are great. I love that you come in for all this stuff. Sorry, it was a little bit boring, but it was important. And for the handful of people who are going to encounter this on archive and see Image Magick and they're into graphics, it's going to be a mind blower, and they're going to find something in there that's good and useful. And same for those of us studying A+ and potentially future A+. Until next week or so. What's going on there? That's not doing something funny. This has been Dave Rush. I'm the senior instructor at Total Seminars and resident Pi specialist. I wish you a great weekend. Take care of each other. Take serious steps to stay healthy. Call or visit your parents and the rest of your family. And never forget, technology is great, but the greatest resource we have are you and I. So with that, good night. I'll see you on Discord in 10 or 15 minutes, probably quicker. See you at the AMAs next week. And until then, I am out of here. This presentation was recorded before a live studio audience. This is a production of Total Seminars. Okay, not studio. Later.